From the political realities, right now, I would say continue holding your fire, keep your focus on Joe Biden. People will get more than enough of debating with you come general election.
All right, so Trump's lead is becoming difficult to overcome at this point. Real Clear Politics average has him with a 47-point lead over any other candidate right now, and he's not planning on showing up tomorrow night. So what do these other candidates need to do to pull ahead?
I think the first thing the candidates have to do is recognize they're not going to be the GOP nominee. This lead is about insurmountable at 47 points. I mean, think about it. It would take everyone who supports someone not named Donald Trump to go to one candidate, and they're still neck and neck. This thing is all but this thing's over.
Okay, so this debate is happening either way. This is a second GOP debate that Trump has skipped now. So how should these candidates treat Trump since he isn't there once again? Should they ignore him and act like he's not there, or should they take him head on since he's the clear front runner?
Well, I think at this point, each of these candidates has a different goal for the outcome of this election. I think most of them recognize that this lead is insurmountable. So if you're the candidate up there who wants to take Trump out, well, then you better get started. If you are one or two of the candidates who are really kind of hedging their bets, they know they're not going to be vice president, but maybe they could be viable in 28 if Donald Trump doesn't win in 2024. And then for the rest of the candidates, they just are trying to position themselves for either vice president or a great job in the cabinet. So be careful attacking him and then turning around 4 or 5 months from now and saying, hey, I need a job.
So former President Trump is going to speak to auto union workers who are on strike in Detroit on Wednesday night instead of going to the debate. Does this show that he is taking the fight to Joe Biden instead?
Absolutely. It is a great move by the former president to basically counter-program the debate, but also be focused on the general election against Joe Biden, because I saw it on the 2020 campaign when I was director of strategic communications. We were already starting to see a lot of the rank-and-file UAW and union members gravitate toward Donald Trump because they saw he was trying to protect their jobs. He was trying to protect their jobs from China. He renegotiated NAFTA and strengthened auto worker protections through the USMCA. So by trying to build on that support, and yeah, union leaders are going to do what union leaders always do, but the rank and file are growing in their support for Donald Trump. I think this is a great move by him, and it does show, to your point, Lindsay, he's moving on from the primary. He's focused on the true opponent, which is Joe Biden.
You know, when I talked to some Trump supporters after the first debate, they were actually a little bit frustrated with former President Trump that he didn't show up because they felt like they weren't represented on that stage. Knowing he's not showing up again, is there anything at this point that could change his mind about future debates? Let's say one of these candidates does get a bump tomorrow night.
I would think that he would do a debate maybe later in the year, November, December, right before the Iowa caucuses and the voting actually begins. But what will have happened since then is that the crowd will have thinned. So some of these people who are just barely making the debate stage, struggling to make the debate stage, stuck in the low single digits, they're going to be long gone because they're not going to have the money or support to continue. And so he might get up there with just one or two of his opponents, depending on who those might be, but there's really nothing politically to be gained by debating right now. It's really more about only opening yourself up for attack. So I get the political strategy. I understand why people want to see him up there because he's a great debater and it is good television. But from the political realities, right now, I would say continue holding your fire, keep your focus on Joe Biden. People will get more than enough of debating with you come general election.
Do you think that this second debate is going to get the same viewership that we saw in the first debate, considering that there is counter-programming for Trump, but it's not the same as he did before with the Tucker Carlson interview?
I don't think it'll get nearly as high of a number. Obviously, I think the cable outlet's different, so that's going to lower the number to a certain extent. And also, I think people have already seen most of this. They've made up their minds when nearly 60% of the electorate has already said, we're supporting Donald Trump. I don't necessarily see that they're looking to see who's going to do it unless you're truly watching for the sport of it to see if someone's going to get a good zinger, someone's going to, make a huge gaffe. But all of the people who are on that debate stage are skilled politicians, with the exception of Vivek Ramaswamy, who's very skilled and good at business. I don't see anyone really scoring a knockout punch or having a huge stumble. They've been through this drill before.